Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We are positively into the weirdest week of my tenure here. It's just 30 years in radio now, where we're playing a football game in January in Buffalo on a Saturday night. It is a playoff game. There'll be no one there from our side. I'm not running buses because there's only 6,000 people there. We're in the middle of the plague, and we've impeached the President of the United States yet again this week after a siege of 50,000 people showing up at the U.S. Capitol and trying to kill everyone in federal government except the president. Bill Cole joins us now from Cole Roofing and Gordian Energy. How's the weather, Bill? Let's, what do you want to discuss the storm front coming through, or you want to talk some Ravens, or do you want to talk about the future of democracy in America?
Yeah, well, there's no shortage of topics, I suppose, right?
Well, you're shocked that my purple lights aren't hanging up, right? Because they were bad luck. I decided they were bad luck, and once they're bad luck, I do away with them.
It's all right. I took my gear off from last Sunday, and it's sitting on my counter ready to put back on for this Saturday. So,
we're gonna wash it once in a while, right?
No, we're not even gonna do a wash.
Oh, really?
Nope.
All right.
Not after last week. Not after last week.
You can't eat those Tide balls. You are aware of that, right? Just making sure.
Right.
Bill, I want to go football first, and we'll go democracy later because I don't want to, you and I are going to get in a cat fight over that. It's fine. It's because we're Americans. The football part of this, I don't know what to do with myself, right? Like all week long, we would be doing 6 buses to Buffalo. We'd be going over the border. I'd have a Friday night throwdown in Toronto. We'd be doing it all. And, this is where the real fun of this thing started to get squeezed out all of a sudden, because I'm thinking somebody's going to win a Super Bowl and somebody's not going to have a parade. And I'm thinking in any other year, I would hope that would be Cleveland.
Yeah, right. It is. I definitely got the fever during the game, right? Like I had been fairly tempered going into the game. Like I thought we could beat them. I was confident, but not that confident. And it didn't have its normal Festivus, air to it. And I wasn't trying to figure out what towns we were going to go. If they go there, are we going? Yes, no, maybe. Do we have our flights?
I did that. I had a flight to Nashville. And I'm like, I'm not going to go to – it was the COVID hotspot in the world, the bomb. We went through that last week. Yeah. I had a flight to Buffalo, and I had a flight to Kansas City. And I massaged them. I even moved my Kansas City flight to Saturday, Monday when I realized, the game was going to be Sunday. And then, the Browns wanted – the snap goes over Roethlisberger's head. Next thing you know, all right, we're going to Buffalo. I had a flight to Buffalo. Wake up Monday. The Ravens sent me – the forms are like, hey, man, see you in Buffalo, but here, there's some stuff you got to do. You have to go to New York on Thursday to get tested because you have to be tested in New York in order to walk in. I'm not going to spend 3 days in Buffalo, dude. I love the Ravens, right? But I don't need 3 days. What I did, and this is clever, you'll appreciate this, because here's what I've been doing, Bill. I've been showing everybody this all week just to show them where the prize is. You like this picture? I've been finding a lot of old pictures. That's my man, sure. David Modell. We lost him. We lost him literally this week. 4 years ago, and this is him walking where the Mayflower vans. The Mayflowers were right here. The same picture from the Mayflowers, but it's us with the trophy. You like that? So I've been looking through all this stuff and feeling, all the pictures from Nashville from 20 years ago, all the pictures from Oakland 20 years ago. Like it's all there. It's all kind of coming back to me a little bit. But this has been one of those weird times, right, where you want to make a memory, you want to make a moment, you want to think about it's on TV, and that's what it's going to be. And they might be playing here next week against the Browns. If we win Saturday, we're going to be rooting for the Browns on Sunday. How about that, Billy?
I think that would be interesting. I think it's unlikely. I am glad that we're going to Buffalo, and I think we can beat them. And another dance with the Chiefs is cool from the epic kind of battles of AFC supremacy that are building.
We haven't won any of them though.
I understand, but but this will be the decade, right? The decade of the Chiefs and Lamar and so it's building. And maybe Cleveland is in that, conversation as time goes on. And I don't really know.
Well, they
Who
have a
else.
younger quarterback, right? Baker
Yeah.
Mayfield and Ben Roethlisberger. The league got all the young quarterbacks in on the AFC side. And the Graybeards on the NFC side. I mean, Brady went over there. Brady would be over here right now, and Buffalo would be a wild card right now, if Tom Brady had stayed. So knowing all of that, I like our chance. I mean, I don't think we can't win the Super Bowl. I'm not hoping we don't win the Super Bowl. I'm not running buses to Tampa either, and there'll be no fun there. There'll be no parade here. It would be a very weird year to win. But I found myself rooting for the Steelers the other night. That's how much I dislike the Browns lately.
Yeah.
But I am going to be a Browns fan on Sunday. And I thought to myself, the worst indignity in the world, it's almost frightening, is the Browns coming in here for an AFC Championship game, and we can't even go and support our team.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield's going to be here, running no huddle if that happens. So this is a weird year. I mean, it hasn't taken on Eddie Feigner status for me yet, but given what I do for a living and how close I've been to all these teams and I've written books on it, all that stuff, this is one of those years where if they don't win, it's not going to feel like it did last year, like it did in 2006. I promise you that.
No, it's frustrating. It's like, well, I want to win, but I don't want to win the year you can't go, because after you win, it's really, really, really hard to go back. And then there's like a 10-year period where you're trying to get back, and who wants to be the guy that
doesn't have to be that way. You can win 2 years in a row. Kansas City thinks they can win right now 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
Ask Tom Brady if he can win 2 in a row.
I hear you.
You got to believe, man. You got to eat avocado ice cream, get up a little earlier, study the playbook harder. I mean, we're going to see that with Josh Allen. He's a better quarterback. Lamar's become a better quarterback, and this is where they get judged, right? I mean,
I think it's finally, it took us 3 years where our regular season plan that we got really good at executing towards the end of the year worked in the playoffs, regardless of whatever kind of, defense they would develop to combat it. So, like, what was San Diego the first year?
Well, the Chargers had that 9-2 kind of, yeah.
And last year, Tennessee had our number, right? Like, and the whole game plan looked like it changed, and it was weird. We went out and just did what we do, and we beat the pants off of them. And it was good to see.
If you turn the ball over, if you can't get off the field on third down, if you can't tackle Derrick Henry, you go home last week. This week, it's, hey, if Stephon Diggs runs, breaks loose for 200 yards and you let him get behind you and you can't get off the field and we start fumbling. The thing for me with the Ravens, and I've talked so much this week, I did JT the Brick Show at Sirius, and I did Murph Show up in Buffalo on the Bills Network. The key to the game for me is the Ravens don't turn the ball over. They take the ball away, and you can't get them off the field on third down, and the Bills are not good against the run. This is not a great matchup for the Bills. I mean, most people on the Buffalo side, they're not afraid of Lamar, and they're very confident in what they've done, but they're having trouble thinking they're going to get off the field against Lamar.
Sure. No, I think it sets up well for us. I think, like I said, we're doing what we do, and we do enough different things now that we can execute well, that we are not like a one-dimensional team where you can scheme against us. Like, Lamar has advanced. He has gotten better. So I look, the Ravens winning is the least of my worries in my life at this point.
You know what? Isn't that the truth, right? Like, I mean, for me, if they're in 3rd and 12 all day, they're going to lose. I mean, I know that, right? As long as their 1st and 2nd downs have some efficiency, they'll be okay. And I think it's going to be a great game. And here's the weird part, and this is where I'll transition with you, Bill Cole from Cole Roofing. Gordian Energy. By the way, I didn't know whether to wear my Gordian hat. You gave me a Gordian hat here. If I wear this, I don't think anybody's going to know it's Gordian unless I wear it backwards. If I wear like back here, right? And if I do that, then they'll know.
But that's the whole point, right?
But, a lot of my hats and shirts have a little runner. But I would say this, when this is over, and it's going to be over in 3 weeks, right? Like, no matter what, whether we're playing next week or whether it's Kansas City and Buffalo playing next week, I'm going to be here, you're going to be here. But the season's going to be over. I mean, there's 4 games this week, 2 games next week, and 1 game after that, and I ain't watching the Pro Bowl. I don't think they're playing it. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with myself. Maybe I'll go work on the revolution or something. What do you think?
I wasn't sure. When you say it's going to be over in 3 weeks, I wasn't sure whether you meant football or the country
Oh,
or the
right.
pandemic or what's
Well,
going
the
to be over in
pandemic
3
will
weeks.
not be over in 3 weeks unless, our culture is over. So
It's all very frightening. And I guess
So you are as shook by this as you should be.
I am trying to understand whether I overreact to things that go on, and I'm constantly like seeking confirmation from other people I respect and talk to. As I, I mean, to have a scene at our Capitol building that I've only seen in other countries with less formal government and just
In other countries that are effed up, let's just
yeah,
call it what it is.
yes,
This doesn't happen in places where we would seek to travel. When that
correct,
happens somewhere, we say we're not going to that country.
correct.
I'd love to go to Cairo, but I remember what happened there 10 years ago, and Clarissa Ward getting raped in the middle of the square, like literally, like I'm not going to Cairo. That's the reason I haven't been to Egypt. I mean, if I don't get there, I don't get there. I'll go back to Japan or some place where I walk down the street and people are civil to me. I mean, I brag about how many places around the world I love and I've been and tell you stories and I know people and whatever. But I know a lot of people from a lot of effed up places, including everyone I'm related to on my father's side, who's trapped in Venezuela. My cousin who's trapped in Venezuela, who was born in America and who can't get back here because he doesn't have money to come back here and live and have a job and bring his family. So, and now he sees this on television. He's like, now where the hell am I going to go?
So on some level, there's this like inner freedom libertarian something that says that there is a fundamental problem that you and I can't go stand where those people were. You know what I mean? Like it's just not allowed. Like that's kind of that doesn't sit well with me, right? Like
What, did you want to walk into the rotunda of the Capitol?
I think it's a
You could do that on
problem.
a tour. I've been there a bunch of times. You can't do it with a semi-automatic and ties to capture prisoners. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in that building. You make an appointment and show up in that building the same way if they want to come tour Cole Roofing. They don't just walk in. Like, I don't. That's if that's the issue that you want to come visit you want to visit Congress, you have a congressman. I have Kwesi Mfume. He lives down the hall. I write him a letter over in Catonsville. I drive by his office over by State Fair and by Franco's. Like, you get to vote every 2, 4, 6 years, whatever the cycle is. And like whatever that was, it was clearly brought on by the President of the United States, which he was impeached for on Wednesday, rightfully impeached for on Wednesday, because that scene doesn't happen if the president doesn't call for it to happen. Simple. I watched it all unfold all day.
Yeah,
I sat here in the morning watching that Mo. I was going to say that old white guy. Oh, that Mo, whatever the hell his name was. We're going to go kick their ass. I was playing that for my wife at 8:00 in the morning. My wife didn't know that there was a rally because unless you're watching Fox News or in QAnon or on OAN, nobody really knew Trump was speaking because we didn't care, and he's been speaking every day to these people for 2.5 months. Flying around the country to these people on our dime, telling them the election was stolen to come to D.C. and storm the Capitol, and they did. I've been following the news cycle, Bill.
So I think an important.
Oh, and they brought their guns and weapons. The thing for me, I'm surprised the bomb didn't go off. I haven't said that all week, but the whole time I'm sitting there when the siege is happening, I'm like, there's a bomb in there, and it's just a matter of like whether a dog's going to find it. I saw those hillbillies running through with Confederate flags. They should be hung. All of that. And I thought, there's a bomb in there. And all the feces on the wall, I'm just shocked more people didn't die, dude. Like, I am absolutely, it's incredible that those police officers didn't shoot anybody other than that effing crazy woman that tried to jump into the Congress room.
I agree. but I think we said that all summer long too. Like I was shocked that more people didn't die. Like so that's a reoccurring theme we can come back to. I I think one of the important things that you said was my wife didn't know this was going on because if you didn't watch these three channels or whatever, and you knew that he was, running
I
his
wasn't
Yankee,
following the holy leader's orders. You know what I
I
mean?
get
I'm
it.
just following the news cycle.
But what you're speaking to is the fact that, like, yeah, I guess that those people feel unheard because half the country isn't listening to them.
How can you be out on 4chan and Parlor planning an insurrection openly? Openly, and the government knows nothing about it. There's no one federal there.
I think
There's a
that's a
call.
really I think that's a really good question.
It feels like an inside job is what it feels like to me. And
I think that that is a really good question, that it was possible that that happened, right? Because if a foreign entity was doing the planning
they're
and
Muhammad Atta out
yeah,
in the open. It was Muhammad Atta as a white KKK Proud Boy, whatever the hell they call themselves. They're Nazis and they're not American and they're violent. But other than that, they're fine people.
well,
They're fine
except
people.
but Ness, they are Americans, right? Like they were born here and they have citizenship. So
Mm-hmm.
like to say they're
And
not
they get the same
American,
rights I get. They get to vote. They get to own a gun. They get the right to spout off. Stupid shit that isn't
and
true.
when
They
they
can say whatever they want to say.
well, no, they can't do that, right? We're seeing that hammer drop, which you should be, as a media person, very concerned about, that the social
I
platform
got thrown off
gets
of Twitter
addicted
for
to.
12 hours on Wednesday. You want to see? You want to see what I got thrown off for? I'm gonna admit I could not tweet for 12 hours during the insurrection. I woke up on here you go. I was thrown out for 12 hours. This is the last 15 minutes. What I tweeted was, and this is what I tweeted, and I've said this on the air. I had a 15-minute back and forth with Moeller and Martin O'Malley, who you may or may not have voted for, who I may or may not have voted for. And I like Martin, and I never voted for Martin. I'm not a pro-Martin guy. I loved his book. I've gotten to know him a little bit. I like smart people, right? Martin
Sure.
is anti-death penalty, and he just did religiously. He's found that he doesn't believe in it, doesn't believe it works. I think my video's gone crazy here, but I tweeted. I want to get the exact words because it didn't include cut off their balls or anything. It was I am pro death penalty, or I recommend the death penalty for these people. That's what I said. I said we have a death penalty in America. I just said I recommend the death penalty for these people. And it was something they were beating the cop up, I think. You know what I mean? I think it was the video of them killing a cop. And I tweeted, I recommend the death penalty. I was thrown off Twitter for 12 hours for that, just so you know.
Yeah, so there's so many different conversations inside this, but to your point of that kind of feels like we're in a rain football game when you do that. That's funny. So
You want me to do it while I'm talking? I was doing this.
No,
I was
no.
trying. I was.
Fine. It's good stuff, right? It's the world we live in today. So
Including your bad mic today.
yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, I had to do that on air.
So you're not, these platforms are deciding what is allowed to be said. At the same time, because this is what we do, we did it after 9/11 and we're doing it after this one, right? We don't allow any time for us to like take a deep breath and sort of set our emotions aside and then govern with good decision making. We run right in and we pass a bill that lets you listen to my phone calls, right? Like without really proper process. So now
or in the city running around with the blimp looking at everybody. Gotcha.
Right. So now we're building fences with barbed wire on the top. We've eliminated, the mayor of DC is saying, don't come to the inauguration under any circumstance. This is a dangerous town, right? have you seen any of the pictures of the National Guard sleeping in the hallways of the Capitol building?
First
Like,
time since the Civil War. Yep.
right. I mean, I don't have all the information to say what is
No,
right,
no. What they're
wrong.
saying is, if you go down there looking for trouble, we're gonna fucking kill you. Is what's gonna, like, next time down, you are the enemy. I don't. You're wearing red, white, and blue, and you think you're an American, and you want to stick the Trump flag or the KKK flag or the Confederate flag, because we all love that in the South. You know, I got a great grandfather who has a statue in the square in Abbeville, South Carolina. You know what I mean?
But I mean, here's the inauguration of our next president, and I don't care whether you vote for him or not, right? Once they become president, I believe as an American, right, you're supposed to do what you can to help the country, right? You respect the office, you respect the person. You can disagree, you can, grumble to your buddies that his policies suck, or that he talks like an a-hole, or that he, is,
or that he was born in Kenya and resembles a monkey, that
right.
sort of, just little things like that. I mean, nothing racist or anything, but that sort of thing, and that wouldn't spawn anything like this 15 years later or anything like that, when they believe an election was stolen, that they lost by 7 million votes. And 100 in the Electoral College, but that's just,
we don't have, I don't think we should.
We don't have a way to verify facts, dude. Like, I was 15 years old as a reporter.
That's right.
We are not well educated. So when I hear about Kerwin and I hear about children, I keep going back fundamentally to that day in Ocean City when I wrote Purple Rain 2 for 10,000 Ravens fans and sold 14 books, because every person came by, looked at it, and said, literally, they knew who I was. They're saying hello. They're all happy. They're Ravens fans. They're all Ravens Roost members. I don't read new books. Well, how are you going to learn? I don't know what to say. Like, people aren't reading. People aren't verifying.
Okay.
People aren't fact-checking. They don't know what a fact is.
But they'll listen to this. And the problem is that you and I don't have, like, 7 hours, right, to put together a 7-hour. And I don't even know if that does it, right? Because, like, look at where you went, right? You went back to the ridiculously awful things that went on when Barack Obama got elected president, right? And then we can go back to a step before that, and we can go a step before that. And people need to sit down, smarter people than you and I, and figure out why things are the way they are.
We are never going to be a leader in the world in this way. And, I saw all the Russian disinformation 4 years ago. I had family members sharing clearly links that were not of any journalism and were not made in this country. It was very, very clear to me. And nothing was done about it on the internet. So that becomes, where is the line between free speech and hate speech and insightful speech, and I'm going to go get a gun because he told me, and it's okay because President Trump sent me down here, which was a pretty prevailing sentiment on Wednesday.
But we understand that both sides are playing the game, which creates the general distrust.
The game isn't get a gun and storm the Capitol. That is not the game on the left. It just isn't. It isn't.
That's fine. It was go to the streets and burn and loot all summer long, right? So
I don't think that was a message from the left, dude. I really don't. I mean, I strongly disagree with that, and I've had that argument. That is a whataboutism that the left-siders will smack it of racism. I would just say it's just not true. It's not true that anybody was egging on rioting in the summer here. It's not. I didn't see that. Matter of fact, in my city, I saw the opposite of that. I saw leadership in here trying to say we're not going to tear our own city up because we live here, because we did it once and we're not doing it again.
Ness, I am not. It is not my goal to try and compare the two events, because I think that's totally wrong, right? Storming the Capitol is a whole nother stratosphere than the civil unrest that went on over the summer. Totally two.
And I will agree that looting a Target's not cool. You know what I mean? Way not cool. Burning targets aren't cool. Shooting police officers killing African Americans without it's all wrong, right? We can all agree with that.
Yeah. It's really complicated, and that's what all I'm getting to is the level of complication and our inability to have long format discourse, because none of it happens in a vacuum, right? Like none of this happens because of one instance and one set of circumstances, and then all of a sudden you get tens of thousands, hundred thousands of maniacs running through the Capitol. Like
well, it's like you said. I need to hear President Trump's speech from last week to know. It's bad enough. Okay, they're all bad enough, right? Every one of them over the last 5 years has been bad enough. But it's all of that led to last week. It's not any. You're right. It's not any one thing or one speech or he said this or they said this or there's one word or there's one line in the New York Times. Like I watch these congressional frauds get up. And I'm thinking to myself, who's electing these people? Where are they getting their NRA money from? How are they being allowed into Congress without walking through a metal detector? Like that's obscene. I mean, it really is. It's obscene. But, all of these points, the biggest talking point we need to have right now is we have a plague going on. We have a divided government. We have a divided country. And we have a maniac who's still in charge, which the issue for me with impeachment was, you want to take power away before he does something else crazy. If last Wednesday wasn't crazy enough when you and your interns were hiding under the desk to take the keys away from the drunk driver, at some point, Bill, you just say you can't drive the car anymore. If you're sane, you know what I mean? We haven't even done that. And that's an amazing thing, what it would take to get a president ousted, you know what I mean, in the modern era. Like, I thought it would be a lot easier to get rid of a president than this after that.
Nestor, it shouldn't be easy, right? Like, you don't want it to be easy to get rid of a president, right? Like he was elected, right? Like the people elected him.
He gathered 50,000 people that stormed the Capitol last Wednesday. Everyone in the federal government's life was at risk if a bomb went off in there. And he didn't take their calls. Come on, dude. Come on, man. I mean, I know you want to defend him. Please.
No, I don't. I don't want to defend him.
That's indefensible.
No, I don't want to defend him. I want to defend the seat. I want to defend the institution.
We've done that for 4 years by allowing it to be the way it is, Bill. And then this happened.
No,
Basta.
It's been under attack.
He's going to be gone a week from now anyway.
It's been under attack since the day he went in office. So that's not true. He hasn't been treated like others.
This was Congress's chance on Wednesday to say, tomorrow morning, Joe Biden will be sworn in right here a week early, and it's over. See you, Don. See you. Bye. See you. And no protection for you. No, the Willy Wonka speech. You know what I mean? You touch the walls in the bubble room. Gobstopper comes back. Give me the ID back. You go out on your own. We'll see you at Mar-a-Lago. Get your own security. Good day. Good day, sir. Like that. Grandpa Joe, good night. How about that?
Yes, I can think his behavior was unbecoming.
How hard is it to do 6 days before he's going to be gone anyway?
I can think he's as dangerous as it is. But what I'm not willing to do is just throw our institution and our processes out the window. Like, sure, take him to court, have a trial. I don't care. Like that, if he's guilty, do what you're supposed to do to that. But to allow,
but don't let him run the country for another week after he does that. That's a pretty fundamental. That should be pretty simple. You lead an insurrection against your own government, you're gone. Billy, how about this?
And I thought, hang on a minute. I thought about it.
You're a CEO
all the time.
Hold on, you're a CEO. You run a company. I run a company. What popsicle stand would he be running right now? Name an institution other than the KKK that he would be running right now? What group of executives, what business would he still be running right now in any other flat world? Seriously. Everybody else that was down there running around, they've lost their jobs, right? I mean, and the ideology has bled down to pistol-toting morons in Rifle, Colorado, who've been elected now to carry their guns into Congress because he egged it on. I mean, it's.
I am not a proponent of not holding someone accountable for their speech. Okay,
I've been held
If he,
accountable for my speech for things I don't
right.
say I get held accountable for.
If he isn't smart enough or couldn't understand the gravity of saying the things that he said that would lead to negative consequences, then that needs to be dealt with. I am totally okay with that, right? What I am trying to guard against is just the power grab. We don't like him, so we're going to ditch him, right? Like, you can't allow that to happen because people voted him into office, and people are always going to hate the guy at the top, right? Right now, half the country hates whoever's in charge. So we have to protect the processes. If you don't like the processes, then change the processes. We have a process to change the process, right? But you have to go through the process. Like, you can't just let's
we did
swear
Wednesday.
this guy in a week early, right?
They
You
did
can't
that Wednesday.
do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But I think the more important point is, how does it even happen? Like, in my craziest, like, it's a TV show. You know what I mean? Like, some guy had to invent that as a TV show because no rational person would think that you could storm the Capitol like that. And if you could,
well, it tells you how crazy these people are.
I am so scared for the Congress people and the senators because, thank God, no one from another country just decided to do that, right? Who actually wanted to blow the building up or really, back in the prime time. Like, I don't know where all the terrorism went that used to be like in the front of every conversation, because like nobody talks about that anymore.
It's just gone to the farm outside the freeway here in America now.
Whatever,
clearly.
right? I don't totally understand how
the fringe isn't over there anymore. It's right here.
Right. But to not be prepared, to not stop it, to have it happen that way is just so shocking to me. And then the total, I mean, I feel sorry for my kids, you know what I mean? Like the adults of the world right now have done a terrible job leaving this place in a better way than when we got it.
You know what? I'm going to let it end on that because I think that's the best thing I've heard on the radio all week. That, why be better? Because our kids are watching. That's why be better, right?
But Ness, it's not. It's so deep. The failure of the adults, right? Like, we can't keep them safe from a virus. We can't keep them safe to get a job, to be treated fairly, right? Like, we haven't been able to figure out any kind of equality. We can't manage to run our government without being, petty and like using Russian operatives and Chinese, like we can't.
We allowed a plague onto our shore from halfway around the world that we knew about. Yeah, and every smart doctor in the world we have funded all of the research for all of this for 50 years. And then when it came to our shore, we had an effing idiot running the country who didn't think it existed because he's too stupid. He knows nothing about science.
Surrounded by a bunch of other idiots.
Correct. Right? And empowered by a bunch of idiots, and empowered in part by the Russian government 4 years ago. But I love where you leave it for, like, the kids, because, like, that's why I'm over the top about Kerwin and education, because we need to fundamentally get back to educating our children better so they read more, know more, ask more, question more, discern more, decide more, make better decisions. And that's going to be how we build this country back. I mean, I believe that. I believe unless we take care of that, we can build businesses and factories and, artificial intelligence, whatever, solar, whatever you want to build. We need educated people. We need people here who are smarter and understand the we and the us and not the they and the them.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I want to leave. I think that's a good place. I feel very much the responsibility of the adults to have totally screwed this up. And yeah, I mean,
all right.
I'll leave it there.
Tell your kids I use bad language. Bill Cole is here. He's Cole Roofing and Gordian Energy. He gave me a Gordian Energy hat. I knew we were going to argue with each other. Can we agree that the Ravens are going to win? Because I think the Ravens are going to win. Like, I really do think they're going to win. I do.
I do too.
And I think it's going to be really weird rooting for the Browns on Sunday. I'm going to say that ahead of time because I'm going to do that. Tell me what you do for 102 years other than just argue about politics and sports with me.
The point is to use the logo, right? Because the logo creates curiosity, and like we
All
want
right.
to
All right.
make
You
this.
tell everybody about what you do, and I'll change hats.
It's all good. For 101 years, right, we've been taking care of commercial rooftops in this area. We're a group of problem solvers. It's all good. That's not exactly look good on you,
It's
but
not a flattering hat on me, is it?
yeah, it's not probably
Yeah.
not the.
That's all right. My hair's getting long, dude. So it just is what it is, man.
Right.
Can't leave the house. I want to look pandemic-y.
Commercial solar, commercial rooftops. We're here to help, and we like to have good discourse about how to make this a better place. Because
Some of the hats fit and some of the hats don't fit. And
right.
sometimes we agree and sometimes we disagree. I still love you. It's okay. It's all good.
No doubt, brother.
Let's hope we're never talking about this subject again, like the Capitol being stormed. You know what I mean? Let's hope that 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks from now that we don't have anything else on our agenda to discuss other than like, when's the Orioles season start, Billy?
Let's hope we can get to summer without the rails, without the train completely coming off the rails, because we're dealing with the pandemic, we're dealing with the government, let's just grind through, get to the weather breaking, and maybe things are better.
Just listen to what the Beatles said. Come together right now. Over me. Here we go. Bill Cole is here. You can find him over Cole Roofing and Gordian Energy. I find him on LinkedIn and all sorts of places as well. We used to get together, have events, right? I'm now into the cycle, Bill, where you started this thing 4.5 years ago with the community and charity stuff, and I was doing all sorts. There are no events. They're all virtual, right? So the Howard County Public Library came on. I had the folks on there talking about their big event, their fundraisers in late February. It's virtual. And I said, the good news, it's an Italian-themed event. And I thought, well, this is good. I can drink Italian wine at home, and I don't have to drive home from Columbia, right? So I'm trying to find the silver lining in the purple cloud of despair. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. Go Ravens. Go America. We never stop talking Baltimore positive most of the time.